in this house, we have a fairly complex uh, plumbing system compared to what a normal residential home has. And you can see here in this where these valves are. That's what these three small boxes are, is the valves. And they feed three loops that exist in the floors in this house, because it was built to be transported. It is actually divided into three sections, and each section has its own loop. And what exists here on the wall behind here, all this copper looks like a mess, is actually two plumbing loops, and they run kind of on top of each other, beside each other, and it's a primary and a secondary loop. And you can imagine that you want to keep your floor maybe 75, maybe 80 degrees. You don't want a hot floor, but you have a tank here that you want to keep really hot. You want to keep this tank, so you have a hot shower, can do that maybe 165, 180 degrees. Well, so you can't just pull water off this tank and put it right in your floor, because you'll end up with like a 180 degree floor or 160 degree floor, and that wouldn't be comfortable or safe, frankly. So what you have to do is you have to slowly mix this 180 degree water, 160 degree water, and you do that with two loops. So you can see there's several of these small inline water pumps, and what happens is that water, and you have that primary loop, and maybe that primary loop runs closer to 160 degrees, and then you have what is called closely spaced T's, and this gets into a bit of thermodynamics. But if you have closely spaced T's onto a secondary loop, that secondary loop will slowly pull off, and you have another pump on that secondary loop. So you create a slight mixing loop between the two loops. So you can slowly mix, and based on how much you pump on that secondary loop, and it will slowly draw off some of that hot 180 degree water into that secondary loop and slowly heat it up. So you can by controlling the pumping, you can control the temperature of that secondary loop. And instead of putting 160 degree water, you can put 75 or 80 degree water and keep that floor at a comfortable temperature.